Game engines like Unity and Unreal Engine provide incredible 3D graphics and simulation capabilities. They power hyper-realistic and immersive experiences on devices from mixed reality headsets to cinematic displays and everything in between. The Maps SDKs for game engines allow developers to use these game engines to easily integrate real-world 3D data into virtual environments. The map data isn't just a backdrop. It's a fully interactive part of the virtual world, and it participates in things like particle and physics systems that power atmospheric conditions, realistic lighting, and collision dynamics. Developers can use the no-code workflows built right into the game engine IDEs, or they can dive down deeper into the API and customize their applications as they see fit. With every release of our game engine SDKs, we keep adding support for more 3D data types and expanding our integration with Unity and Unreal Engine. To give us a virtual tour of some of the recent enhancements and upcoming features in our game engine SDKs, I will hand it to Mason.
Thanks, Divesh. I've created an application using our Game Engines SDK that allows me to explore a virtual, unique museum. In the museum, each exhibit is made up of a virtual tabletop that highlights a specific feature from our SDK. I'm currently in the 2025 showcase room, where I'll be showing off some of the features we released last year. I've just showed off my custom avatar that looks like me, and I've set up third-person character controls to navigate through the scene. Heading over to the first exhibit, we'll be taking a look at custom materials and how they can be used to see what others can't. In game engines, just about everything uses a custom material or shader in order to give objects a unique look. Built directly into the plugin, you can replace the default material of 3D layers in order to fully customize your scene. Here, I'm utilizing a depth texture in order to render what is and isn't in view from a specific point of view, and changing the color accordingly. I'm using green for what is in view and red for what's not. Heading to the next table, we'll be taking a look at 3D tiles. Bringing them into the game engines allows you to truly appreciate their realism, and man, do they look good from this first-person point of view. But I can gain perspective from another vantage point. I can teleport myself directly into the scene in order to see the city streets of Boston and what it would be like for me to walk around there. I can continue using my third-person character controller in order to walk around by using the mesh colliders generated by our plugin. It looks super cool from this perspective, but I think I'm ready to head back into the museum. There's one more stop in the 2025 showcase room before I can head into the 2026 showcase. This last table showcases elevation. Last year, we introduced support for vertical coordinate systems and how they can be used to bring together different data sets with various different elevation sources. Here, we're looking at the island of Tenerife within the Canary Islands. And if that's not dramatic enough for you, I can use some game engine code in order to animate the elevation exaggeration factor so we can almost feel what it would be like to climb the mountain. I'm now ready to head into the 2026 showcase room, where I'll be showing off some of the new and upcoming features in our SDK later this year. The first exhibit I'll be showing off is support for Identify, which we recently released in our most recent release. Identify allows us to pull the attributes associated with a 3D layer directly from the layer itself, and I can display them on this nice UI here. Additionally, I can cycle through different buildings in order to see what other attributes I can grab. Additionally, I'm combining this with the custom materials I showed off earlier in order to give the building a distinct glow, so I know immediately which building I selected. Moving forward, every time we add a new 3D layer into the game engines, it will support this Identify feature, assuming it has attributes. The next exhibit shows off a new layer coming soon to the Game Engines SDK, that being point cloud layers. Man, does it look super good in this scene. Not only do we support displaying the data itself, but we also support changing different renderers within the game engines using the API. I can cycle through different renderers here in order to see what else we can see. There's a couple different ones here, and they all look just as good as the first one. The last stop on this tour is another new 3D layer coming to the Game Engines SDK, point scene layers. Here, I'm taking a look at the trees of the city of Redlands within Sylvan Park. This is one of my favorite parks in the city of Redlands. The model symbols come directly from the ArcGIS services, which means we can change them directly in the game engine, giving us full control. I can cycle through different models like I'm doing so here, where we can use the realistic-looking trees, or we can even change to something more stylized like a cartoony tree, or pull something straight out of a video game like Minecraft. I'm now ready to head onto the balcony where we can wrap up this tour and see all of the features I showed off come together. On the balcony, you'll be able to see 3D tiles, elevation, custom materials, and everything else that I showcased today. We can watch the sun go down, and it just looks so good. The game engine really does render things in a different light, and it makes things look so good. I will now hand it back to Divesh. Thank you.